Elite 30-inch electric smoker. Got some baby back ribs in there, 3 racks of them. They just went in about 20 minutes ago. Probably take about 3 or 4 hours from what I understand. And this thing has a, well, can't see it very well. It's got a glass front so you can see what's going on in there. Kind of hard to tell. You can even control it from your phone. It's got like a Bluetooth control panel. That's pretty handy. And the wood chips get loaded in this little contraption here. Kind of, well, you can't, it's too dark, you can't really see in there, but that's where the wood chips go. So I'll come back and show you what it looks like in another 20 or 30 minutes, because I'll have to, I guess I'm going to spray some spritz or whatever you call that on there. We'll see what it's looking like. Alright, here we are, we're back. I guess they've been on there for about an hour and a half, maybe an hour and 20 minutes, something like that. And I am going to try to open this thing up and move the racks around. There's 3 racks in there, and the burner's on the bottom, and so I think the bottom's hotter than the top. So I'm just gonna rotate the racks a little bit, and I'm gonna spray some of that spritz stuff on there to keep them nice and moist. So let's open her up. Let's see here, I got the glove on. So it's nice and smoky in there. Everything's looking pretty good. So I'm going to take this out. I can keep from dropping it. I'm going to rest it right here for just a second while I move the rest of these around. Take this one, put it down on the bottom, like so. And then I'll take this sprayer here. Spray these things. Oop, my sprayer just broke. Well, I guess I won't. That doesn't work too good. Alright, so much for that. Well, they look pretty moist anyway, so it won't matter. Move these racks down, like so. And then take this one, which was on the bottom, put it up on the top. And close this door, latch it shut. It's hard to do with one hand. Alright, so everything's looking pretty good. We're about an hour and a half in. Let's say in another half hour to an hour we'll take them out and wrap them up in foil and let it cook for another hour. So stay tuned for another update. Okay, so here's the Bluetooth controller for the grill, or for the smoker, and it allows you to monitor the time left, the smoker temperature, and if I was using the meat probe it would tell you the temperature of the meat, but with ribs you can't really do that, they're too thin. Anyway, it's 249 degrees inside there, which is pretty good because I have the temperature set for 250, so it's doing pretty well. Originally set the timer for 2.5 hours, so it's been in there for about 2 hours and 15 minutes. We got 15 minutes left, and if I wanted to change the temperature of the time I could do it there. Anyway, that's how that works. And 15 more minutes we'll be taking them out to put them in a pan with some little bit of apple juice in the bottom, and we'll wrap it up with foil and cook them for another half hour or so, maybe an hour, something like that. Alright, we're back, and I think they've been in there for just under 2.5 hours, maybe just a couple minutes short of 2.5 hours. So I'm going to go ahead and pull them out, take them inside, put them in a pan with just a little bit of apple juice in the bottom. We're going to wrap them up with foil, put them back in there. So let's see how we're looking. Still got a lot of smoke, that's good. And I'm just going to try to grab these with some tongs. Actually, leave those in there so it doesn't slide off the back. Just put these temporarily in this little tray there. Looks pretty good. It's hard to do this left-handed. Probably should have held the camera with my left hand. It's also a little challenging with smoke in your eyes. Good grief. Woo. That's a lot. All right. We'll close this thing up. Let's see. Hard to do this one-handed. Get on there. There we go. Okay, we'll take these inside so we can see them a little bit better and wrap them up. All right, we're back, and I think they've been in there for just under 2.5 hours, maybe just a couple minutes short of 2.5 hours. So I'm going to go ahead and pull them out, take them inside, put them in a pan with just a little bit of apple juice in the bottom. We're going to wrap them up with foil, put them back in there. So let's see how we're looking. Still got a lot of smoke, that's good. And I'm just going to try to grab these with some tongs. Actually, leave those in there so it doesn't slide off the back. Just put these temporarily in this little tray there. Looks pretty good. It's hard to do this left-handed. Probably should have held the camera with my left hand. It's also a little challenging with smoke in your eyes. Good grief. Woo. That's a lot. All right. We'll close this thing up. Let's see. Hard to do this one-handed. Get on there. There we go. Okay, we'll take these inside so we can see them a little bit better and wrap them up. Here we are after about 2.5 hours of cooking time. And as I mentioned, I'm going to put them in some pans. Each of these has about a cup of apple juice in there, just in the bottom. And then we'll use some foil to wrap them up. And then we'll put them back in there for about, I don't know, half hour, hour, something like that. So let me get them wrapped up and we'll do another update. So one thing I forgot to mention before we put the foil on there is that we're going to put this glaze on there before we wrap them up with foil and put them back in the oven. This glaze is something I mixed up from a recipe. It's basically got cider, vinegar, hot sauce, some salt, some pepper, red pepper flakes, a little bit of sugar, a couple jars of apple jelly, and some corn syrup. Sounds lovely, right? Anyway, blend it up, and I'm gonna put some of that on there before we wrap it. Here's what it looks like with the glaze going on. Just painting it on there. Makes it look nice, and hopefully that'll taste really good when it gets caramelized after it cooks some more. Anyway, I'll finish doing these up and show you what it looks like at the end. Okay, so this is what they look like when they're all glazed up. Now I'm going to put the foil on them, and we're going to put them back in the oven again for, like I said, half hour to an hour, something like that. we'll carry them out there. Here we are back at the smoker, and so we've got our glazed things ready to go back in. So we're just going to pop it open, and it's still smoking a little bit because I added some chips a little while ago before I took them out the first time. But once that smoke runs out, I won't replenish it because we've got it all sealed up in the foil now. And actually, we don't want the smoke getting in there anymore after this. We just want them to cook a little bit longer, sealed up. So we're going to do it like that. Clip this thing shut again. It's hard to do one-handed. There we go. And so we'll let this thing run for another half hour to an hour. I forgot to mention this earlier. This is the marinade I used. It's got ginger ale, orange juice, soy sauce, salt, and dry ranch dressing mix. Mixed all that up, marinated them for like an hour, or I mean a couple hours. I think you're supposed to do it for like 4 hours, but I didn't have that much time. So these soak for about 2 hours. And then this stuff here is the glaze that we put on. It's the vinegar sauce, which is this stuff where it's got cider vinegar, ketchup, hot sauce, salt, ground pepper, pepper flakes, and a little bit of sugar. And then you mix that with 2 jars of apple jelly and some corn syrup. And then you mix it all up in a blender. So that's what I use for the glaze. And then there's some spritz that I sprayed on there. Even though my bottle broke, my sprayer broke, I found another one. And I sprayed this on every, let's see if I can find it. Probably about, it says, this guy said to do it every 15 minutes, but I didn't like opening up the oven, the smoker that much because it drops the temperature. So I probably did it every, I don't know, every 45 minutes or so. But it's just some apple juice, white wine vinegar, and just a little bit of liquid butter. Mix it all up in a spray bottle, spray it on there. So anyway, that's what I did. And we probably have a little bit longer, maybe half an hour or so, till we take them out, and then we'll see what they look like. So one other thing I forgot to mention is the rub that I used. We've used this recipe for a long time. Just basic barbecue rub, but it's got brown sugar, paprika, black pepper, coarse salt, garlic powder, onion powder, celery seeds, and cayenne pepper. But yeah, I used that, and after we marinated, or after I marinated the ribs, I dried them off and put a whole bunch of that stuff all over them, front and back, and then cooked them for a couple of hours. And then that's when I took them out and put the glaze on that we saw a little while ago. Anyway, just didn't want to forget about that. All right, here's the finished product. This is about 2.5 hours of smoking. Then we glazed them and covered them with foil, put them in there for another 45 minutes. And then we took them out and glazed them again and put them back in the oven uncovered with the oven off while it cooled down for another half hour or so. And that's it. We'll let them sit for about 10 minutes. They're ready to eat. Look pretty good. And there it is, the finished product. They look pretty good, I have to say. Some corn and baked beans. Dig in.
Yes, sir.